What does the Bible mean by abomination of desolation? Let's start off by where we find it in the Bible. In the Old Testament in Daniel 9:27, "And on the wing of abominations shall come one who makes desolate." It connects the abomination with a covenant, stopping sacrifices and judgment. In Daniel 11:31, "Forces but shall take away the regular burnt offering, and they shall set up the abomination that makes desolate." Often linked historically to Antiochus IV Epiphanes and the desecration of the Jewish temple. In Daniel 12:11, "From the time that the regular burnt offering is taken away and the abomination that makes desolate is set up." Here we come across a time frame, 1,290 days, which is important for end times interpretations. In the New Testament in Matthew 24:15, "So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel." In Mark 13:14, "When you see the abomination that causes desolation standing where it does not belong." In Luke 21:20, "When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation has come near." Key insight here is that Daniel defines it in the original prophecy. Jesus warns about and reapplies it to a future or near future event, and Luke clarifies what it might look like by interpreting it in a more historical/visible way. These verses are the foundation for all interpretations about the Antichrist, the destruction of Jerusalem, the Third Temple, and the Great Tribulation. So how does the futurist view connect Daniel to Thessalonians and Revelation into one end times sequence? Firstly, the prophetic foundation from the book of Daniel. Daniel 9:27, "A ruler makes a covenant for 1 week, 7 years, and midway through 3.5 years. The sacrifices stop and the abomination of desolation happens. This becomes the backbone of the 7-year tribulation. Secondly, rebuilding of the temple, inferred step, as a temple must exist for sacrifices to stop. So it can be concluded that a third temple will be rebuilt in Jerusalem, as this step is not directly stated, but inferred from Daniel. Thirdly, the rise of the Antichrist is linked with second epistle to the Thessalonians 2:3-4. "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sit the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." This figure is called the man of lawlessness, who exalts himself above God and sits in God's temple claiming to be God. This is where the Antichrist and temple are directly connected. Fourthly, the midpoint crisis, 3.5 years, is the key turning point where the Antichrist breaks the covenant, stops temple sacrifices, and sets up the abomination of desolation. It's connected to the Gospel of Mark 13:14, and this triggers the Great Tribulation. Fifthly, the beast's global rule from the book of Revelation 13, where the beast, Antichrist, rises to full power and rules for 42 months, 3.5 years. He demands worship and introduces the mark of the beast, the number 666. 6. The Great Tribulation, where we see the severe persecution of believers, global chaos, and judgment of God's wrath unfolding with the seals, trumpets, and bowls. 7th, the return of Christ from Book of Revelation 19, where Jesus Christ returns and defeats the beast, Antichrist, and ends his rule. 8, final outcome where the Antichrist is judged, Satan is bound for 1,000 years, Revelation 20, and God's kingdom is established. This timeline works by layering multiple books together with Daniel providing the structure. 7 years, midpoint. Thessalonians identifies the temple event and Revelation describes the global rule and final battle. In the end, what matters is that we know what the outcome will be, no matter how desperate things may look at a moment in time during the Great Tribulation.